and welcome back, and thanks for joining me again. So we're continuing this playthrough of Dien, the final gamble, and since last time, we're still on turn 2, but I did do some movements, and the French reinforced Gabrielle here, and they actually started to assault to take back some of the strong point hexes. And up here at Beatrice, the French went in with a couple of troops to try to open up line of communication to these isolated units. So now they actually have line of communication again. They, however, failed to assault this unit because the defensive fire from this Viet Minh unit made this assault unsuccessful. But nevertheless, we still open up a line of communication, which was the most important thing to do here. Okay, so let's just do these assaults over at Gabriel. And what I think I'll do is I'll just roll the dice. Okay, so this assault here has a base strength of 6. They have 1 supporting unit here, or they have 2 actually, so they have plus. That's an artillery unit. So they have only +1, and they have no supporting units in adjacent hexes, so they have 7. The enemy is entrenched, so that's -2, so 5 for the strength roll. And we get 9, which is over 5, but not more than 5 over 5, so they have -1 on the effect roll. So let's see what we roll on the effect roll. 1. There's a normal attack, and the target morale is 5. That's a no effect. So this one has no effect. Okay, this assault. Here we have 6 base strength, and here we have 2 supporting units in the same hex. So we're up to 8, and we also have 1 from the same battalion in the neighboring hex. So we're up to 9 here then. 6, 7, 8, 9. -2 because it's entrenched. That's lower, so we get a +1 on the effect die roll. They have a morale of 5, and they're not shaken. +1 on the effect die roll. So we get 3 then. Choice. So the choice result means that the Viet Minh player has to choose either to take 2 step losses or retreat all units 1 hex. I wonder if it's not better to take the 2 step losses here. This will create a catter marker on, which would make we have to replenish, and then the morale will go down. But I think keeping that strong point hex and keeping the French unentrenched is probably more important. So I will take 2 step losses. 1, 2. And if you're wondering, I already performed the defensive fire here, so these French units were actually step lost. Okay, so that's the end of the French assault phase. And now we go to the French attrition. And normally you would then eliminate all isolated units, all units that are not in French line of communication and are isolated. So these are isolated, but they are in line of communication, so they will not be eliminated. And they also have the option of actually evacuate. When these units evacuate, it's only the units that were previously marked with isolation markers that are allowed to evacuate. And I think the French will take that option in this case. They can move all of these units to the local supply area. And local in this case means down to Dien Bien Phu. If it was units at Isabel, they would move to the supply area at Isabel. So I will just go, and the supply area is this area marked with these the dashed border here. So I'll just move down all these units. We'll remove the isolation markers because they're in line of communication, and we'll evacuate them and leave Beatrice, because I think it's going to be very tough. It will look like this, and these are not entrenched, so I think the Viet Minh will have an easy, it will be easy for the Viet Minh to actually take some hexes here, and then we'll actually lose these units. So I think the French should be happy just evacuating these units, and they will be very useful later in the game. I'll just put them here for now. Okay, after the attrition phase, there is additional supply losses. This is called the Rats of Nam Yung. And basically, you roll on the supply table again with a -2 die roll modifier. So 5 minus 2, that's 3. Deduct 1, deduct 3 medicine. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now importantly, as soon as the French units left Beatrice, the Viet Minh gained control over Beatrice. So as soon as you have one unit in a strong point and the opponent leaves the strong point, you gain control over it, and the entire strong point. Also, if the strong point is isolated, you would gain control of it even if you don't have units there. Okay, so when you gain control, you place your map, your flag there, and you also adjust the strong points track. So this strong point had 4 hexes. So the number of strong points that France controls will go down by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, down to 59. And also the number of strong points taken by the Viet Minh will go up by 4. So you'll notice that next turn we have a surrender number of 57, and now the Viet Minh has, or the French has 59 strong point hexes, minus 4 taken by the Viet Minh, which is 59 minus 4, that's 55, so that's below the surrender number. So next turn the Viet Minh will be fine, they won't have to lose morale, which they all divisions actually had to lose morale this turn, because they didn't take enough strong points. Okay, so now we come to the French after combat move segment, where all French units that are not entrenched, they may move 1 hex or 5 movement points if they don't enter Viet Minh zone of control. So these guys, note that if they stay unentrenched next to a Viet Minh unit, they will become shaken. And not only that, next turn the Viet Minh will be able to fire artillery at them much more efficiently. So we should really try to get these guys out of the way. Okay, so this after combat move for the French, if they actually move, they have to end in a strong point. Now, there are 3 alternatives. As I said, you can move 1 hex, regardless of zone of control. You can move 5 movement points, or you can just relocate directly, without entering Viet Minh zone of control, to one of the strong point hexes in the supply area at Dien Bien Phu. I think all the strong point hexes in the supply area are actually full. No, not these guys. So for these troops up here, I think that's the only option. So they will just have to retreat completely down to the supply area at Dien Bien Phu. And I think we'll just do that. And we can place them out here. Now, for these units, it's a little bit more tricky. They cannot use this movement because if they retreat, well, they can. Oh, you might have wondered, this unit, it would have to move through zone of control, but you actually do this one unit at a time, so we could start by moving this unit, and when he moves in there, the Viet Minh doesn't actually have zone of control in this hex because there's already a friendly unit there. So that move, going back to Dien Bien Phu, is completely legal. Now for these guys, I think that's the only alternative here too, is to basically evacuate all of these units back to Dien Bien Phu. We could just leave them here, but as you saw last time, the artillery fire will be quite devastating, and maybe this hex will actually be able to hold out just a little bit more. So I think we'll just retreat with all of these units as well, back to Dien Bien Phu. Now it's getting a bit crowded in these hexes. We can put 2 more units here. There's also strong points, so we can put. We'll put 1 there, and these 2 there. Okay, so now you remove all shaken markers, and you put isolation markers on Viet Minh units that are isolated. Now the French, they have not managed to isolate any Viet Minh units, so we don't have to do anything there. And then the Viet Minh can now dig trenches. And the drawback for the French now to actually evacuate Beatrice is that they took it this turn, which means that they can actually flip this dig zone marker now, because they control all the strong points in this dig zone. So now this one is converted into a trench zone. Okay, so what to move forward? I think now that they have secured this trench zone over here, I think the most logical choice for the Viet Minh is to move forward with this one and turn this area here into basically all of this area into a dig zone. Means that they can go up here and still be entrenched while surrounding this unit here. Okay, I think what I will do is I will play through a turn or two, and then I will get back and tell you a little bit what happened, so that you can see also how the game progresses on a slightly longer time scale. I think the Viet Minh probably will be able to take this last guy here, but on the other hand, they have suffered quite a lot of losses. Their morale is going down in the 308th Division. So once they've done that, they will just have to stay there and rest so that their morale will go up again. Whereas this division and this division, they can just continue to attack without waiting here, I think. So maybe I should have actually moved the trench marker, the dig zone here. Well, we'll see what happens, but I think maybe it was a good idea to move forward here, even though they will basically have to sit back and wait now to recover. And the French will have to try to reinforce all the units that they brought back over here. Hopefully they can get back into the action and help out a little bit to defend these strong points over here, and depending on what the Viet Minh actually does, maybe over here as well. Okay, so I'll play through a turn or two, and then I'll get back to you. See you later.